Hello, my name is Naomi Richardson, and welcome back to another episode of the Power Chat series. Today I'm interviewing Sharnell James and Erynn Paris, two creative and versatile women who are on their own innovative and original journey while exploring their perspectives on mental health, self care physically and mentally, along with discussing their own personal journey with setting intentions. How are you guys today?
I'm good. How are you?
Well,
I'm
thank
great.
That's good.
If you guys would like to introduce yourselves, go right ahead.
Okay. I can go first. Hi everyone. My name is Sharnell James, like Naomi said, and I am the creator and founder of Dear Self Care, which I founded in 2017 as a platform to talk about the importance of mental health and self care within the Black community. It was a blog at first where I would just go on there and just talk about my own personal struggles with mental health, i.e., depression and anxiety. And after, it got reached out to other people, they're like, oh my gosh, you keep it going. And since then, I have continued this work of talking about mental health. And now it's a business and I have my own journal and all types of things. So follow me on Instagram at Dear Self Care. And just like Naomi, I am also attending Wayne State University. I'm getting my master's in social work. So yes, that's all about me.
wonderful. Great
Thank you.
intro. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
My name is Erynn Paris. I am the owner and creative director at Infinity Dance Studios, and we are in Ferndale, in Michigan. And in 2019 is when I started the company, and it was started off as a center for dance for youth training, as well as adult physical fitness. And when COVID hit, and I lost that space, and then I went to a space in Southfield, and then actually I was asked to coach at Ferndale High School, for cheer and the dance team, and so right now our home is inside of Ferndale High School, and this is going into my second year inside of Ferndale High School, and it is actually working out really well for us and our kids right now. Is just, instead of it continuing being adult fitness, our adult fitness is only like I go to you and your party, but our kiddos come into class, and this is our first year that we're having um, our competition team. So that is really interesting, navigating that. It's like the unknown, right? Like being the leader, paving the way for my competition girls. But we are really excited for that. And actually, like right now, we're into our fundraiser. So that more about that. But you can follow us on Instagram at the number two Infinity Dance.
Great. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to interview you guys. Let's start with the first question. So, self care for Black women and young Black girls is something that's rarely talked about. There's also a stigma around it. Can you both give me insight on how you discovered self care for yourself and how you made it dedicated to your own journey?
Yes. So I would be honest and say I didn't know nothing about self care until I want to say about last year. Although I had my blog, I still never knew like how to truly care for myself. So I like to identify myself as someone who can give great advice to people, who could tell people how to show up for themselves. But I struggled with it. And growing up, my mom was a workaholic, worked 12-hour shifts, never took a break. So I unfortunately became groomed to that, just always work, 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 work. But now I can honestly say now that I found the joy in self-care, I love it. Just taking a break. I feel like as Black women, we are always taught that if you're not doing enough, you ain't doing nothing at all. And it's okay to just to be soft. It's okay to rest and find that luxury in doing something for yourself. So self-care for me on a regular is going to the gym. Self-care for me when I'm at home is just not turning my phone on and just watching TV and just being in my own solitude and refueling myself, because I like to help everybody, but I can't be there if I can't be there for myself. So that's how I pretty much was able to discover it. And then now as an adult, I always tell like my friends who are moms, working moms, like, girl, take a break. Like, it's okay to rest. I know I'm not a mom, but just seeing how my mom struggled so much with resting, I just would hate for them to experience the burnout that she had. And I just always tell myself to take a break. And that's my dog Yoda that y'all hear in the background. So, yes.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah. I feel like being on, I hear you very much. And as a mother of career woman and mother of two, kind of like almost three in like 2 weeks, it's really hard to find that self-care, and then you literally have to give yourself permission to say no, like, okay, I can't make it today, let my assistants do the job. But then as wonderful, as passionate as your assistants are and things, it's like whoever your audience is, whoever your clients are. For me, it's like my dancers and their parents. Um, at the same time, it's like they're not you.
Mhm.
And how as much can I instill all the things that I want for my business inside of my wonderful helpers, so that when I am not there or can't be there, um, it's still like a working clock, and so sometimes it is really hard to give yourself self-care, for me, at least for me. But back in December, November and December were pretty hard months, as I'm like going into my final days of pregnancy right now. And I was so not well in those months. And my midwives put me on like bed rest. Those were the worst like 2 weeks of my life, because I'm like, I'm so bored, like, because I'm used to go, 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 go. And then you can't do that when it's your health at stake, and you don't want to get it to that point. So you do. I do have to like take the time to say no, take the time to like, hey, can you take my little people and have some like personal just rest, like go to sleep and be okay to not call yourself lazy.
Mm.
It's tough. It's tough, but you got to find the balance even when you don't want to.
And when you said that word about not calling yourself lazy, I felt that, because it be days where I'd be like, oh my God, like, why are you being so lazy? And my therapist be like, girl, you got to give yourself grace. Like, you have
Oh
to
my God.
give yourself grace as you're on this journey. And I'm like, okay, it's hard. Like I said, I can give everybody the best advice how to do things, but when it comes to me, I'd be so hard, and I'm unlearning that, and how to be a little bit more graceful to myself. So you're right, it's a journey.
Wow. At Sharnell, it's like you're inside of my head and my heart right now. When you just said give yourself grace, I literally tell like my high school students, my kiddos, like I tell them, give yourself some grace. Like, you just learned this yesterday, or you just learned this right now today. Like, stop beating yourself up, or whatever the case. And then you don't take your own advice. Like, give yourself some grace. And
Yes.
like, I almost felt like maybe I'm just emotional or something. But that gave me a little bit of tears to my eyes, like, because you have to give yourself some grace.
You do.
Oh wow, this is amazing. We're
Yeah.
off to a great start, ladies.
Yes.
So the next question is just like explain and or describe how the journey you are on right now came to be and the obstacles you faced while like coming across your career.
Okay. Go first, Erynn, if you want.
Yeah, you saying describe the obstacles that I've faced?
And how your journey came to be.
Wow. Okay. Well, whole life was in love with cheer and dance.
Mhm.
Um, literally since I was like 3 years old. Okay, that part, easy part. But in I think about middle school, I stopped training in dance. Like, and I stopped being at my studio and things like that. So, um, by the time high school came, I was like behind in my training and I had to re-catch up. And I went to Renaissance High School and was I cheered and was in dance workshop under Gina Ellis, who was amazing. And but I started off as an understudy, like um in 10th grade. And so like as far as dance workshop. And so but by my senior year I was a principal dancer, and it was just like the passion part. How much are you willing to work, like that part? I had to either sink or swim type of thing. Are you gonna be a quitter? Is this what you want to do? So but when I when it was time to go on, okay, what am I gonna do after high school? Mind you, I went to Renaissance, and it was like everybody was saying, "Oh, not are you going to college, but what college are you going to?" So then I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go to college." Like instead of instead of creating like my own path, and I had just turned 17 because like I was double promoted. um I think I skipped first grade. But the part where I need to um go to college, that was like, all right. So my older sister went to Michigan State. I was in love with Michigan State. Oh, that's where I'm going, on site admissions. Perfect. Took 5 years, but I graduated. And and like the dance program wasn't what I possibly needed it to be at that time. It was just still forming. So I got a specialization in dance, but that was about it. And so fast forward out of college, I worked at Alternatives for Girls and did gigs outside of my full time job, dancing on stage and things like that. And then and that's when I tried out once I got out of college. I tried out for the Pistons dancers, and I made it to the last round. They didn't take me, and I was like devastated. But then the whole rest of that time, that year, I trained, took some classes, worked on stage and things like that. Did things around the city of Detroit, and then the next audition came around, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to allow them to tell me no twice. Like, and I showed my rear end. Like, it was such an amazing like audition for me, and perhaps it was that experience of being yet again told no. Right? Remember, I was like an understudy in high school for a minute. But it's like, okay, uh first time you don't succeed, try again.
Mhm.
And literally I was like rookie of the year on my team, and I was with the Pistons organization for 4 seasons, and then soon after that, that was from 2014 to 2018, and then in 2019 started my my family and my business with the dance studio, and here I am today. So that's my journey and all of the obstacles that I faced.
I love that. Great
Thank
story.
you.
Oh, that's
Thank
the movie Dance for the Pistons.
Yeah, it was fun. Good perks while they lasted. So
I
good
love that.
things.
Um, for me creating Dare Self Care. So just to give like the journey of it. I always knew that I wanted to help people. I just didn't know in what magnitude or how I would do that. So while in undergrad, I went to Grand Valley, and it was the school year of 2016 and 2017, so that full year. And I was an RA at this time. So when I say I am a busy bee, I mean that. Like, I can be working on 2 different projects at one time. Is it healthy? No, but it's all about balance, right? So while at Grand Valley, I was, a full-time student, an RA, working, the NPHC president. I'm the only member of my sorority on the campus at this point. A girlfriend, daughter, all types of things. So I was wearing multiple hats while trying to do all of these things. And Sharnell was probably like last on the list. So I started to notice something was odd in myself. I would sleep more. I wasn't eating. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I'm crying more. I'm exhausted. So y'all, I kid you not, I went to Google to type in my symptoms, what I was feeling. And that's when it popped up that I was experiencing depression. And I'm like, okay, no one talked about this in my family. We don't really, even although my sister is now a therapist, like, we never talked about what depression is and talked about anxiety and how to get out of it, right? It's, if you do talk about it, you're crazy, you're lazy, and we don't deal with that. That's white people stuff. So I was ashamed for so long. So in my dorm by myself, dealing with it while going outside and people seeing the happy Sharnell. But then it got to the point to where I wasn't going to class often, wasn't showing up to meetings when people started to be like, something's off with you. So I continued going through my journey. I didn't open up about it until like that summer of June, when I did release my blog. And my now boyfriend, we're still together. At the time, I was crying to him. I'm like, I don't really know why I'm going through this, but I feel like I should share my story to people, but I don't know how to do it. And he was like, why don't you create a blog? And I'm like, I don't want to write no blog, but I'm okay. I think we should do it. So he went off to work, and I did research, and I created the blog, Dear Self Care, where I honestly that was my way of opening up to my friends and family of what I was going through, versus me having to tell them verbatim. So the outpour of love and support was ridiculous. I didn't even imagine, because again, people was messaging me like, I did not know you were going through that, and you hid it so well. And now looking back on it, like, I shouldn't have had to hid it. I shouldn't have had to hide what I was feeling, because there's nothing wrong with dealing with any of those things. But it's just, what's wrong is not knowing how to cope with it. So like I said, I created it. And then moving on, some obstacles that I went through was really with myself, like not really feeling confident in this work. Still feeling in the shame. I'm telling everybody else, oh, it's okay to deal with it, but I'm still shameful about what I'm experiencing, because it's like, what the heck? Fast forward to the pandemic and quarantine. I really struggled with my anxiety the most ever during that time, because we're at home, same stuff, different day, not knowing if you're going to contract COVID. And then George Floyd got murdered. And I mistakenly watched his video. And like, when I tell you guys, I kid you not, it felt like someone was sitting on my chest every single day. And that's when I knew, like, okay, Sharnell, you can't keep running from it. It's time for you to get like help. and I went to therapy. And I have been going to therapy consistently since 2020, and it has been a blessing for me because now I know how to cope with my anxiety. I know when to see when it's starting to become heightened. I know when if I'm going to go into a depressive episode. And now I just know that like there's a power in me and I'm so comfortable talking about it. And I'm also able to talk about my struggles while helping everybody else. I just feel like I'm in this just great space now. So the obstacles that I faced to be here with Dear Self Care was within myself, but I had to do a lot of prayer and show myself a lot of grace that it's okay to not be okay, but it's also okay to be there for others while you're there for yourself. So yes.
I love that. Thank you so much. I feel as though mental health just isn't talked enough, like when it comes to young Black girls or just Black women in general. So I'm really appreciative towards you guys for allowing me to interview you guys.
Yes. Yes. We don't talk about it enough.
And on to the next. This question is really for me because I am only 20.
Okay.
Right. I'm 27, so we're not too far.
Oh.
Look, y'all, I got a birthday next month, y'all. I'm on the brink of 32.
Okay, 32 is the new 20.
You're looking good.
Wow. I hear 30s are fun.
30s are funny. 30s are pretty cool.
Oh, she said funny.
They are funny. Yeah, make you still feel like you are in your 20s. You still feel young. You still feel youthful.
Yeah.
So, if you could talk to your younger self, doesn't matter when, it could have been 1 year ago or 5 years ago, what would you tell them regarding the subject about mental health and self-care?
Yeah, that's loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because so aside from Dear Self Care, I didn't really go into I'm a teacher, and then of course I'm getting my MSW. So I talked to my high school girls a lot about this. But if I could really talk to my younger Sharnell self, I would say about 5 years ago, is to tell her to hold on, just hold on and press on because there is something greater out there for you. You just have to do the work now so that you can see it. I will also tell her to not be ashamed of what you're dealing with because there's other people dealing with the same thing just like you. So don't ever feel like you are a burden to someone. You are damaged goods because you're not. And I will also tell her to give less of a crap of what others got to say about you or think of you because that is what's going to hold you back from your fullest potential.
Yes. Wow. That is really great advice to give your younger self. 100% stand behind you on that, Sharnell. I would want to give myself that advice because patience is really important, and it gets like when you're watching other people, when you lose yourself a little bit, and then you have to get back to you. And the crazy thing is I would tell myself, hey, guess what, like you don't have to be perfect. Stuff ain't perfect. It's not like and you think it is, or you think that it should be, and baby, that's not the way life works. And so you have to trust as much as you can, trust yourself now, and then it's okay to be as good as you can be right now and continue to work to make it better each time. And I would also tell myself that it's not a sprint. because it's really like a marathon or like a journey or something, like, you know, and redefining yourself over and over and over again. Um, and that's okay. Uh, and I think for my particular self, it was okay, now that I'm not dancing anymore, like me being the dancer on the floor, I am now the teacher, but I also have these kids to raise, this baby, like, and my friends aren't taking this particular journey with me. How do I decipher for myself what's going on? Um, and it's just like, take it one day at a time. You're okay. You can get through um, this uncertainty. You can get through this uncertainty without um, completely losing yourself. And if you do lose yourself, we can come back from, we can come back, we can find ourselves again. And I think that's what I would tell younger Erynn. um definitely.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you for being able to let me listen to advice that you guys have given to your younger self, because I definitely need it. Um, I didn't believe anyone when they told me that adulting was hard. And I didn't believe anyone that when they told me that my 20s would be the hardest.
Same. Listen, same.
And
Your 20s, so much fun, so much fun, but also it's a lot of learning who you are, what you like,
oh,
what you don't like, what you're willing to accept, what you're like not gonna have to. I know I'm
yes.
not gonna deal with that. Like,
It's all about boundaries and just learning to like know yourself.
yes,
But
absolutely.
on to our last question. How do you go about setting intentions for yourself in your personal journey and in your personal life?
Setting intention.
Yes.
Mm. Somehow you want you it's about that balance word. um and depending on the career path that you take, um it can be very involved, like your career and business intentions can be very involved inside of your personal life, and vice versa, because of the business or the relationships that you create. And the intention is, what do you want to do, how do you want to treat other people, like the people that you're working with, and also how do you want to be treated and felt, like, is it a family oriented business, like, because if that's the case, then it is completely personal, at the same time that it is like where you have to keep it professional for your business, and keep that part thriving. um but then your families that you work with, or people and parents that you work with, um, and I say that because I work with youth. um they're gonna want to know about what's going on with you and your family, and and you're just naturally gonna care about theirs as well, the good and the bad, and um your intentions on being just a genuine person. I think that goes a long way, it and it's almost like customer service or something, what is your intention? And even if like because I don't call it customer service for myself, it's just like you have to put your personality into your work. Um, and I think that is what helps me with my business is that um, people grow to love you, adore you, want to work with you, um, and that your product as it evolves is the best that you can make it for their needs, and what you're saying that your business is providing. So whether it's person, I for me it intertwines, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And so if that is the intention that you want for your career path and personal life, um, I think that you should be absolutely okay with that.
Yeah, I agree with a lot that you said, Erynn, for sure. Because I believe that when you have like your intentions is what set the tone for everything that you want to do, whether your business and your personal life. So the way I go about and setting my intentions is similar to what Erynn said, like about being a good person, like making sure that I'm doing things intentional within myself so that it can outpour into others in a positive light. Setting the intention for my business, like, okay, my intention is to help others that are struggling with mental health and caring for themselves. And when you say that, then all the things that you need to do to reach that goal, well, then it'll happen because my intention is set and it's pure. Even in my personal life, my intention right now is just to be happy and to give myself that grace I was talking about more and just be more present. And so far, since setting that intention, I've been seeing that. So I will always say that when you are setting your goals and when you are just thinking about what's the next thing for you, always have your intentions in mind. So that when you see everything come into play, you can think back like, oh, wow, I set this intention, this within my goal, and everything is happening.
Mm, goal setting, absolutely. You got to write it down, otherwise
Mhm.
all the different things that you have going on in your life, uh
Yep.
yeah, you can like forget about it or out of sight out of mind or whatever the case. So yes, absolutely, goal setting,
Mhm.
day to day, week to week, month
Yep.
to month,
Mhm.
yes, and beyond.
For sure.
I agree.
And also too, when it comes to goal setting, I am also learning this. Don't feel like you have to rush into your new year goals. Cause like I have yet to do my vision board, guys, yet. And I'm okay with that because I'm still in 2022. Like I'm still like dealing with stuff from over there. And I want the things that I have for 23 to be fresh and new. So I told like my friends, like, you don't rush to set your goals, y'all. Like it's okay to still be working through it. So yeah.
Okay, okay, see, because that's important.
Hmm.
And 2022 was like
What the heck?
dramatic.
I feel like 2022 was just not it for anyone.
That's why I'm still healing and dealing because 2022 took me out. Okay, like it took me out.
What? Yeah, yeah.
Game.
Out of the game. Literally, guys, I've been pregnant for a whole year. A whole year. Not even joking, which is miscarriages. I do not wish that on your worst enemy. You can't possibly. And then rainbow baby. But I'm tired. Like 2022, the whole year, like took me out the game. So yes, like let us all. I pray that both of you find your 2023 like refreshed,
Mhm.
um, it's like midway through February already. Like,
Right.
where's the time going? But I'm loving it, because then that means spring is coming. Like,
Yes.
then our Detroit summers.
Yes.
Right.
Can't wait.
Right. So yeah. Take
Well,
your grace though.
thank you so much for allowing me to interview you guys. I am so grateful and thankful that I was able to meet you guys and listen to new advice and new wisdom. So I am sending grace towards both of you guys.
Thank you. I receive it.
I'm gonna take it all.
Have a great day, guys, and be safe.
Thanks,
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for having me.